Hi, I'm Robin Carey, and I'm speaking to Stefan Heeke, who is the Executive Director for Sumall.org here in New York. Stefan, what is Sumall?
Sumall is a technology that allows you to connect different data sets, APIs. You could connect your Twitter feeds, you could connect your revenue into one view. That is Sumall.com. We are Sumall.org. The founders of Sumall.com decided to create a non-profit alongside the for-profit company. They gave it 10% of the equity, which is a lot. And this is what we are doing. I am the executive of Sumall.org, executive director of Sumall.org, and our goal is really to use data beyond business applications. So looking for data applications in social innovation. Like how can we kind of use the tools, how can we use the know-how that's in the startup community, that is in the company, that is in all business and apply it to a social innovation, to social innovation problems.
Terrific. Can you give us an example of what you've done or how that would actually work in terms of individual nonprofits or other initiatives that you've been working with?
Sure. We partner with nonprofits that have a particular problem. We work with them if they can articulate a problem, if they have the data that we can analyze, and if they're able to implement the recommendations we can give them. So we want to have actionable impact, and the impact is only possible if we have the data and if they are able to implement. And one of the projects that we are very proud of is a collaboration with the City of New York, where we were able to predict homelessness, family homelessness, based on evictions and shelter check-ins. So we could tell which families are likely to become homeless in 3 to 4 months. And that made us really understand like the power of data and the power that we have. Like we are like many people who work at Sumall.org are volunteers. We also have staff and interns, and all of us have a business background, and we use the tools for marketing. And now we understand that we can use the same techniques to predict homelessness, so the risk, and really in a way market to the most vulnerable, and use the techniques that we learned in identifying the most vulnerable and communicating to them that prevention services are available. And that was an interesting learning for us, how quick and how powerful data is. And we work with the Clinton Foundation on predicting prescription drug abuse risk. We work with other nonprofits on analyzing their membership. So there's a lot of potential, and we're looking for good partnerships and ways to use data for impact.
That's fascinating, and those are great examples. So I know you've had a for-profit background. You're a skilled digital marketer. You work for large global organizations. Is this your personal view that the stuff is only valuable if it can solve real? I mean, it's one thing to sort of sell widgets to millions of people, but is this what motivates you, that you can take the skills that you learned in the for-profit sector and apply them to real problems?
Yes, I was working in marketing, and I was fortunate enough to have a lot of resources at my disposal and a lot of great tools. And I thought, this is amazing. I wish I could solve better problems with these tools. And this was my motivation to join Sumall.org and really demonstrate what's possible if we use literally the same tools to solve other problems. And what I also found very encouraging, that a lot of people are thinking the same way. So we have a lot of volunteers from business who have the same feeling. They want to contribute, and they have the skill to contribute in a big way because they have that experience. And and it's really amazing to see that it's truly possible. And that's our motivation. I think we all, whatever we do, I think if we think outside the box, I think there's a lot of other problems we can solve.
One of the things that is also of interest is how tech companies can do more than just give money, right? and they don't necessarily give that much money. But how can technology companies become more, not just individuals like yourself, but the companies themselves? What can they do better and more to solve real world problems?
Thank you for that question, Rowan. It's no, that's exactly what we felt was possible. We didn't know it clearly when SomeAll.org was created, but there's three things the startup or tech community has in excess. So that we have a lot of talent available. There's a lot of equity and a lot of ideas. And for some reason, it doesn't quite translate into a big philanthropic enterprise. Or it doesn't become the volume or the amount of kind of social impact work is not that much.
Why is that, do you think? Is it just that most startups, for example, are just so focused on, accelerating and being nimble and agile about what they're very specifically trying to do, which could be, how do you get your dog an app that allows him to order his own dog food? I mean, some of the stuff has gotten so narrow, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, how do you do that? How do you get them to focus on something bigger there?
I think it's in the air that I think a lot of people want to solve different problems, maybe not full-time, but maybe part-time on the side. And I think there's the notion that you have to be rich to donate or to give back. And what we learned with the experience of SomeAll.org, where founders of a startup gave equity, that actually we were able to use that equity to do these kind of projects. So
that's fascinating. So rather than just give cash, which they don't often have enough of, they're actually giving you equity in the business even before it IPOs, or
exactly. And we want to kind of find a mechanism and also encourage the tech sector to give equity, because that seems to be the missing link, because there's not a lot of liquidity around. There's a lot of talent, a lot of people who want to do things, there's a lot of ideas to do things. There are even social investors who want to give money, but what's missing is kind of a philanthropic gesture, I would say, from the tech community, and that could be by giving equity. And this is what the founders of SomeAll.com did. We have this equity. It is not easy to manage it because it's high risk and it's not liquid, but I think we found a way with social investors to liquidate it and use it for social impact, and in the process give the whole tech community, hopefully at some point, a tool to use equity for impact.
So you're not only being incredibly innovative about the ways that you use data, but you're also being innovative about the ways that technology more broadly can solve real world problems. You're looking at business models and other things that are really quite new to how business is usually done.
Yeah, I think we are. We're trying to solve our own problems, which is dealing with donated equity and making it work. I think that's one thing. The other thing is that's what I see a lot. The moment you use data in an actionable way, you're innovating. Just the fact that you use it, the fact that you create a recommendation or an implementation usually leads to a transformation of that business. And the social sector, as you mentioned, there are a lot of applications that are very narrow maybe in the business sector, but the social sector basically is a green field. And every project has big impact and a big innovation opportunity. What's missing is a funding model. I think there are a lot of ideas, a lot of people would love to work on it, but the funding is still very traditionally kind of slow. So
you write a grant to a foundation.
Exactly.
You wait.
And the foundations want to give money to nonprofits that are established and big, and it's
usually have nothing to do with data. I mean, it's usually
the whole idea of
delivery.
they like to give to a cause, not to a tool or not to a mechanism, and this is what we're experiencing, that there in the beginning there was a lot of we had to explain a lot. This is a catalyst to whatever you do, you can make it a lot better.
Right.
And it could be homelessness, it could be drug abuse, it could be war crimes, it could be human trafficking. Data makes everything, or gives a huge innovation opportunity to any issue. And at the same time, we felt that that the current funding structure is not set up to support that. On the other hand, wherever we go, it's a green field. You're truly innovating, and then that's a very rewarding opportunity. But we also have to solve the funding piece, so we can do this in a professional way.
Well, clearly there are plenty, as you say, it's a green field. There are lots of big global problems to solve, so it's heartening to know that there's this level of innovation being applied to them. So
yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking with me. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you, Rowan. Thank you.